Over the summer, I had an internship at Street Sense, which is a street newspaper in Washington, D.C. The newspaper started in 2003, and I've been a reader of it for many years, and I really love the idea of having a newspaper that's mostly written by homeless individuals and raises awareness on issues related to homelessness and poverty, or just other issues that aren't generally covered most of the time in mainstream media outlets. So when I interned there, I started just gathering as many documents as I could about how to start a newspaper like Street Sense and just any advice I could get from anybody I met. And so I just brought all that back to school with me with the hopes that somebody around Burlington or Greensboro might be interested in it. And so I met with Liz Seymour, the director of the Interactive Resource Center, and she's very interested in the idea. And it just kind of has gone from there since the end of the summer. I didn't know I wanted to start it in Greensboro. Originally, I was hoping it could be in Burlington, but because Liz Seymour was interested in it and she was ready to help us out in any way that she could, it just seemed like the perfect opportunity. And I hope one day maybe it can go out to Burlington or something else could start closer to Elon, because I do believe Elon has a lot of resources to offer to newspapers, such as now the new Greensboro Voice or other street newspapers.
Well, actually, I'm doing research this semester from UNCG. I'm on research leave, and my idea is to infuse literacy projects into the IRC as a whole. So I had thought about the street newspaper as a possible literacy event or project, but it wasn't until Mary came from Elon and sort of introduced the whole guest system to the idea of doing a street newspaper, and she made everyone really enthusiastic about it, and I thought, this is something I want to be part of, so I joined with the group. And while I'm taking notes on what's going on, I'm also a participant, so I'm really an ethnographer who's a participant and observer at the same time.
The idea, I believe the idea for this newspaper is great because it will inform people that's maybe in power or people that can make a change. It would inform them of what the people that's living on the streets are really going through.
You know, you're going to represent people that need to be represented. People need to hear what they got to say. Because everybody knows a lot of things. And this is the only way we can really express ourselves.
Well, I think it means having some kind of a voice in a marginalized group of people who are very seldom recognized as anything other than the stereotypes that people have of the homeless, of people who are mentally ill, who are on drugs, who don't want to work, who are, essentially worthless. And I think these articles help people see that they're not worthless. They have opinions, they have political ideas, they have aesthetic ideas about art and about poetry. And so it does give voice to a group of people that are not recognized. It's an alternative newspaper.
Yes, Mary is the founder of our organization. And actually, Mary gave me the idea of being a reporter, if you really want to know. And, she sort of encouraged me to stick with the interviewing people and writing, and then somehow turn to being a reporter.
About 2 months, and I think that's pretty fast. Mary had a lot of expertise. She had a very good notebook full of first you do this and then you do this. She was very organized. She was really good about getting back to us after every meeting and saying, this is what we did and this is what we need to do next. So it was really her very quiet but steady leadership that allowed things to emerge, because I didn't want to take control of it because I'm researching what's going on, so I wanted to see it evolve, and I think it evolved in a really timely manner.
So our newspaper, we decided on a mission about 4 weeks ago maybe, and it's just simply put to raise people's awareness about issues that aren't covered, such as homelessness, the challenges that you face when you are homeless, low-income students in schools, anything that's just of interest to people at the Interactive Resource Center and other shelters throughout the county, and just to raise people's awareness about any of those things. Every other Friday, the Interactive Resource Center has something called Lunch and Learn, and on September 17th, we had a Lunch and Learn session with all of the guests at the homeless shelter about street newspapers and what they thought about them. And it seemed from that discussion that a lot of people were interested, and so we decided that we were going to go ahead and give it a shot. And so between September 17th and now, we've created just a little 8-page newsletter, but we're getting there, so we're trying. Honestly, when I come to the Interactive Resource Center to work on this, it just seems like I'm working back at the pendulum with everybody else. We're a team. We're trying to put out a newspaper, and we're trying to help each other learn and how to write, learn how to use our talents to fulfill the mission of the newspaper. So it's just like a team project. It's pretty much like anything, and we all are patient and work well together. Many of the contributors to this newspaper, this is the first time that they may have written an article in AP style or just written for a newspaper, and so we're just all working together as a team. I brought some of my media writing handouts with me to one of our meetings and just gave them out because I thought they were really helpful, and they just provide really great guidance for anybody who wants to learn to write in newspaper style. I just think newspapers are very powerful, and people enjoy reading human interest stories, and so maybe for homeless individuals, people may not want to directly confront somebody or talk to them, but reading a story about their situation and trying to get a better understanding of what homeless individuals face on a daily basis, that might be a good basis for the dialogue between everybody in the community about this issue and about other issues. And so I just think newspapers are a great way to get the word out. They're an inexpensive way to get the word out to people to encourage dialogue. So right now, there are no vendors who are set to sell the newspaper, and my hope for this is that vendors either from this homeless shelter or other homeless individuals in the community can pay some small amount for a copy of the newspaper and then sell it throughout Greensboro, so that way they can earn an income while also raising other people's awareness about homelessness, poverty, and other issues.